This is Chargers Now. I am your host, Will Ortner, and today we got to talk about defensive coordinator, at least for the time being, Jesse Minter. Is he going to be able to stay in LA? Are the Chargers going to be hold on to their stellar defensive coordinator? Or are the Baltimore Ravens, possibly the Las Vegas Raiders, going to be able to step in and take our great DC to be their head coach? Obviously, right now, Minter is a hot candidate. He's someone that is basically interviewed for all of the big-time jobs, and he's actually already starting to get return interview requests from a couple of the more high-profile jobs out there. Minter is also clearly, along with Hafley, who is now the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, kind of the two big names on the defensive side of the football for these head coaching jobs. Other spots you're starting to see more and more offensive-minded coaches be big and hot name commodities. I guess I'd be remiss to say that Robert Saleh isn't in that tier as well, with Minter and Hafley having gotten the job over in Tennessee. When you look at the spots where Minter is clearly a finalist for the head coaching position, it is over in Las Vegas. He had his second interview with the Raiders just the other day. And then it is in Baltimore with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, it does seem to point that Baltimore is targeting Minter. Now, they're going to do their due diligence. It's very clear from that front office and the quotes that's coming out from the ownership group there that the Ravens are going to dot all the I's, cross all the T's, look under every single rock to make sure that whoever they hire is the right guy. But do not be shocked if it is Minter who ends up being the Baltimore Ravens head coach, because there's a multitude of reasons on why teams would want Minter to come in and be that head guy. When you look at the first reason why a lot of teams want Minter, it's because he has a great coaching pedigree. Not only is he having success on the field as one of the coaches, but he also actually falls into multiple head coaches' coaching trees that have had continued success wherever they fall upon. When you look at the big three right now who Minter has coached under or coached with, Jim Harbaugh is obviously the big name because that's who he is the defensive coordinator for right now in LA. But he was also the defensive coordinator for Harbaugh over at Michigan. John Harbaugh was a head coach that Minter was a position coach for. A lot of people will forget that he was coaching the secondary for a couple of years out in Baltimore. And then also, he is obviously linked with Mike McDaniel. Now, the reason he is linked with McDaniel is because they were both position coaches together under Jim Harbaugh, and they were both position coaches out under John Harbaugh as well. So it's clear that they have worked together, and that McDaniel's success right now in Seattle is actually going to lead to a lot of people believing that Minter would have the same type of success. All three of the coaches that he technically falls into their coaching tree with, they are successful. They've all won or are currently winning, right? Harbaugh, John, has won a Super Bowl. Jim has won a national championship with Minter. And McDaniel right now has the Seahawks in the NFC championship game. We're going to dive into more reasons why these teams want Jesse Minter and why they are doing their due diligence, plus why the Chargers are going to do everything to keep Minter and what could be some factors that play a role in Minter staying in LA. But before we do any of that, if you want Minter to stay in LA, go in and smash that like button. Hit the thumbs up on today's video. We're trying to set a record for likes on the channel. Haven't hit that yet, so come on in and hit that thumbs up button. Another reason why teams are going to want Minter is because of his ability to maximize the talent that is placed around him. Let's call a spade right now when you look at this Chargers defense. As good as it has been, it obviously isn't one of the top paid defenses in the National Football League, and Minter has done a great job of taking players that may have not been having success in other spots or who have struggled at times and getting the most out of their abilities. The case in point that I really want to point to, because you can see what he was before he was with the Chargers and then what he was with the Chargers in the same year, is Odafe Oweh. Look at what he was in Baltimore with the Ravens. Clearly a fine defensive line edge rusher talent, a guy who is doing some good things, but I wouldn't say that he was really lighting the world on fire. When you look at what Oweh was doing in LA under Minter, you can see he went to one of the premier edge rushers and actually had a big-time performance in that wildcard game against the New England Patriots, getting to Drake May multiple times and forcing a couple of turnovers in that one. He completely changed his game, and that is because he got into Minter's system. Now, Owe is just one example. I can list 4 or 5 other guys that we can get into who have seen a lot of progression from their time in a Minter style of defense or from having Minter as their position coach. So it makes sense why teams would look at a guy like Jesse Minter and say, if we bring him in, we know that whatever the potential is of our defense, it's going to reach that because the players are going to reach that. And that has led to the third reason why teams want Minter, because he is a proven success. He's a proven commodity. Sometimes when you look at the different defensive coordinators or defensive position coaches, they have not proven that they can be successful year in, year out. Some of them have proven that they can be successful for 1 year. Some of them have proven that they can be successful in one position group. Some of them have proven that they can be successful at a lower level, aka college football. But when you look at what Minter was able to do with the defense here in LA this season, it is a top 10 defense in every major category. Yards allowed, top 5. Passing yards, top 5. Rushing, top 10. Scoring, top 10. And that's with a defense that, frankly, was not supposed to do this, right? It's a defense with some good players, but to sit here and say that the Chargers put a big focus and were paying a ton of money to a lot of their defensive players would just be wrong. Then when you look at the 2024 stats to make sure, hey, is this a one-time wonder thing? Maybe, Mac and Owe and Tart and Thule, they all had big seasons. Maybe that's why they were what they are. Maybe it's because Henley had a good year, Derwin James. That's just simply not true. Because you can look at the 2024 Chargers defense, and while they might not be top 10 in every major category, they're right in the ballpark for it. So it shows that the Chargers defense not only got better year after year, but more importantly, that he was still getting the most out of that talent because that Chargers team is still top 10 in a couple of categories, just outside of the top 10 and no worse than 14th. So Minter can clearly coach a great defense and get the most out of his squad. Will Jesse Minter stay in LA with the Chargers? Predict it right now down below in the comment section. Type Y for yes. Type N for no. I'm going to probably have to lean towards no just because he's very successful and it's clear that Baltimore seems to be kind of locking in, honing in on Minter. But a guy can hope because there are a couple reasons why he might want to stay. Let me know your opinion down below in the comment section. When we look at the reasons for why Minter may stay in LA, well, it's because Jim Harbaugh is a proven winner at head coach. When you look at Harbaugh's career, whether it was at San Diego, Stanford, or Michigan, San Francisco, and now in LA, what does he do? He wins damn football games. So there's a reason right there alone that Minter might want to stay because he knows that his coach is going to get him into a position where this Chargers team might do something special. The Chargers just got a brilliant offensive coordinator, one of the best minds when it comes to the offensive side of the football. So there's a chance that next year's offense might take a gigantic step up because of what Mike McDaniel can do for this team. Not to mention, in the NFL, if you're going to win a Super Bowl, you have to have a championship-level quarterback, and that is what the Chargers have, right? So when you look at the offensive side of the football, it's a great coach with a great offensive coordinator with a great QB. Then you look in and there's a ton of cap space, right? So the Chargers, if they want to go spend a bunch of money in free agency to really shore up some of the positions of need, they can do that. They've shown that the Chargers can maximize some of their draft capital, right? So there's another reason. And there's clear organizational buy-in. Mike McDaniel would not come to LA if the organization, the ownership group, the front office, the rest of the coaches on the coaching staff did not give him a good reason to think we can win a title in LA. So those are all big reasons on why Minter might say, hey, you know what? I'm willing to run it back with this squad. Now, at the end of the day, I already told you that I do see a world where Minter goes to Baltimore. In fact, I do think that he does go to Baltimore. I will say this, though. I'm 60-40 right now. And to sit here and say that the LA Chargers do not have a good package that would get Minter to stay in LA would be incorrect. So the question is going to be in the next 24, 48, 72 hours, Are the Chargers going to be able to convince Jesse Minter that they are on pace to build a super team? Because when you look at the head coach, the OC, if Minter comes back as the DC, the amount of cap space that they could use on free agent players, the draft capital that they have, the return of both your tackles, I would say that this Chargers team could be a super team. And if Minter decides to come back to LA, you would then, in my eyes, be the favorites, not just to win the AFC West, not just to win the AFC, but the Chargers would be one of the top 3 teams, if not the favorite, to win the Super Bowl next year. Because you'd have the coaches that could do it, the quarterback that could do it, and the rest of the players that could do it as well. So we'll see. We'll see what Jesse Minter decides to do. Hit the thumbs up button if you're a real Chargers fan. Go on in and smash that thumbs up icon. The more likes that we get on this video, the more videos that we will be able to do next week. Had a bunch of people come in and sub. That's what allowed us to do 4 videos this current week. If you want us to be able to do more videos next week, hit that thumbs up button. Who knows, maybe we'll even get to 4 or 5 videos if we get enough of those likes. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video, and bolt up.